Hey guys, what's up? It's iFlynn here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to get Rhino in Warframe. Rhino is one of the first Warframes that you are probably going to be told to get by a handful of players who play Warframe. The boss that you get him from isn't too hard to take down, but for a newer player you may struggle, especially if it's your first time. So the idea behind this video is to make the process of killing the boss called the Jackal, which you can find on, I think it's called Fossa on Venus, making that experience really easy. So I'm going to be using basically the starter weapons, right? The weapons that you get from the prologue of the game. So if we go to our arsenal, we take a look at the MK1 Paris, the Lado, and the Scanna. That's going to be my loadout for this video, along with the Volt Warframe, because Volt is the Warframe that I recommend new players pick up, because you can get Excalibur and Mag pretty early on in the game. Even with this setup, right, you can use the Paris, Lado, Scanna to farm up Mag and Excalibur as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the mods on my Volt Warframe. Now, the mods that I have are maxed out. You don't have to worry about maxing out the mods. I am using a few flawed mods on here as well. So the Intensify and the Continuity, they are both broken or flawed, as it says in the mod card. They used to be called broken, damaged, whatever. They're called flawed now. It's basically the same effect, but just a lower stat at max rank, right? So Intensify is usually 30%, but because this one is flawed, it's 12%. So as a near player, not really that big of a deal. Just take whatever bonuses you can get. But we're going to be using Vitality for our health. And again, this is maxed out, so you're not going to have a 440% bonus, but just throw on your Vitality. It doesn't matter what rank it is. A health bonus is a health bonus. Redirection for shields, Flow for more energy if you have it, Intensify for your power strength, Continuity for your power duration, Streamline for your ability efficiency. Now this is going to make it so that your abilities cost less to cast, and I do acknowledge as well that if you're a newer player, you probably won't have the capacity to fit all of this stuff on, so don't worry about not getting this entire build on. What I do recommend focusing on though is probably your health and your shields. Now shields at endgame usually are not modded for, but because you're a newer player, it's probably ideal to just throw it on there anyway, because it'll stop you from dying. And then probably Streamline, because with Volt, especially in this fight, you can use his electric shield if you're high enough level to use that to get some bonus damage to your weapon, or whatever weapon it is that you happen to be using, right? So for this fight, we're going to be trying to make a elemental combo called radiation damage, right? So to do that, we put fire damage and electric damage beside one another in our weapons modding section. So in this MK1 Paris, I have Hellfire and Stormbringer beside one another. I've got my flawed Serration on here for the 40% damage bonus. And I also have a Thermite rounds on here. So Thermite rounds you get from the spy missions located on Earth, Venus, Mercury, Mars, and Phobos, right? So it's a rare drop from Rotation C. I think it's a 5.56% chance to drop. Don't quote me on that. But you can get it from spy missions on any of those planets, and this is going to allow you to, of course, make radiation damage, implying you have an electric damage mod, right? So you combine Hellfire or any fire damage mod or heat damage mod with an electric damage mod. That gives you your radiation damage and inspiration to boost up the stats of all of your damage types. So slash, puncture, impact, radiation. Serration is going to boost all of them up, and then obviously your elemental damage mods on here for just bonus damage, because that's basically what it is, right? So the reason we use radiation is because the Jackal, the boss that we're going against, is actually, my computer just went off in the background, is actually weak to this elemental damage type, right? So we're going to get bonus damage to your radiation damage if we use the specific damage type versus this boss, right? So we do the exact same thing for our pistol, right? We go to Hornet Strike for our damage, then we make radiation damage. Electric plus heat, which is giving us our radiation. So you can see all these numbers added together is our damage in an ideal scenario where an enemy hasn't got any weaknesses or resistances, all right? But because, of course, the enemy that we're shooting against has armor and all that jazz, we're not going to be dealing that exact amount of damage. That's just how you calculate the damage of a weapon. Pressure point on here for melee damage, Fury for attack speed, and then we have a radiation damage mute by shock and touch and molten impact. Stance doesn't matter. And then if we go back to my Warframe, you guys probably noticed the aura mod on here. Energy Siphon, you get this by completing Nightwave challenges. You get wolf credits from completing the Nightwave challenges, and then you can go and purchase this whenever it's on rotation. So that's up here on this little vendor. So complete the challenges that are shown here if you can, and then get these wolf credits. Go to credit offering, and then if Energy Siphon is there or whatever aura mod tickles your fancy, go ahead and pick that up and then throw it on your Warframe, right? So you can do this boss fight with Excalibur, Mag, or Volt. It's really down to you. Again, I'm just using Volt because I think he is the ideal starter choice at the minute, because he is the most expensive to obtain. You can get Excalibur and Mag relatively early on. You should also have the Taxon before you go into this fight as well. Taxon isn't really going to play a big role in this fight, so don't worry too much about it if you don't have it. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump in and kill him after we go to the market. We go to the top left-hand corner, we type in Rhino, we click on Rhino, we press this little blue credit icon, which says build, and it shows us that we need to have 25,000 credits, a Rhino Neuroptics, Rhino Chassis, Rhino Systems, and 1 Gallium. We need to spend 35,000 credits to purchase this blueprint, so go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and do it because, you know, demonstration purposes, right? So our plan, or the idea, is to get the Rhino Neuroptics blueprint, the Rhino Chassis blueprint, and a Rhino Systems blueprint from this boss on Fossa the Jackal, right? So at the end of the mission, whenever we kill him, we're going to be rewarded with a blueprint for whichever one of those parts. You have 32% chance for the chassis and the neuroptics, and then a 28% chance for the systems. So the systems is the rarest part, and I believe like you shouldn't have to do any more than 32 to get all the parts at least once. At least that's what I think it says in the wiki anyway. So we're gonna jump into the mission. Corpus mission, really easy. Just run past all of the, I guess, ads, the additional mobs, and then we're gonna kill the boss. So use your second ability if you have the energy for it to sprint past all of them as fast as possible, because that's what you want to do. You want to do this as fast as you can because you need to get all 3 part blueprints. Now your speed isn't gonna last that long because of course you don't have a lot of duration, and it's also not gonna speed you up by a ridiculous amount like you might see in some Warframe Twitch streams, for example, because you don't have a lot of base sprint speed or power strength equipped, right? So it's speed kind of works like a multiplier, but we'll talk a little bit more about that in a different video talking about Volt. So here's the boss. Go ahead and run up to him. He's gonna go for his animation. Taxon's doing his thing. A few ads behind him. I'm gonna go ahead and kill them. Now what we want to do is we want to get away from him, and if you can, cast your third ability and shoot at his legs, right? And that's gonna knock him down. Keep shooting at him. Whenever you do that on one leg, move on to another leg. So we're gonna go for his right leg now, which is our left. Okay, there we go. And he's down again. Just keep shooting at him. And then we want to move on to his hind legs whenever he gets back up. So we're gonna try to jump behind him and shoot his hind legs. Of course, make sure to keep your distance because he is gonna do things that will knock you back. And if he does do that, well then you're gonna have to give it time. He's knocked down again. Just keep on shooting at him. One more. We can knock down his leg. And he's dead. So that's pretty much it. Just got to make sure that you rank up your elemental damage mods and your serration mod. And then that fight will be really easy. You can use your Lado. You can use your Scanna. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure to do all 4 legs. And then that fight will be done literally in no time. It's like one of the easiest fights in the game. So if we go ahead and we head to the exit now, we're going to be awarded with one of the part blueprints for Rhino. So, should be free this door. Nope, maybe not. Another door. 2 more doors. This is it. Okay. So, here's the exit. We get our Rhino Chassis blueprint. So we have that. We're going to go to the foundry. And then we're going to craft the Rhino's chassis, neuroptics, and systems, and plan we have all the blueprints. If we do, that's great, because then I can show you how to actually build it and claim it, right? But if not, well then, of course, refer to another video where I show how to farm a frame and actually claim the frame from the foundry, right? So we go down here. We go to the Warframe tab. We type in Rhino. In the top left-hand corner, you can see it says I have one owned and I mastered it. Rhino's chassis. Let's see. I do have Rhino systems. So we build the chassis. I already have a neuroptics built. So we have to build the chassis and the systems. So we go ahead and we do that. I'm going to rush them. Like so. And you can see that the chassis takes 1 Morphix, 1000 ferrite, 300 rubido. Neuroptics takes 1 Morphix, 150 alloy plate, 150 polymer bundle, 500 rubido. Rhino Systems takes 1 control module, 1 Morphix, 500 salvage, 600 plastids. We've got all of them, and now they're going to take 12 hours each to build, so build them all at the same time is what I would recommend. And then with Rhino, he's going to take 72 hours to build, right? So that's 3 days. Go ahead and we click that, and then he's going to build. I'm going to rush it because why not? But I also have to build or claim a Warframe slot, right? So if you back out of your foundry, go to your equipment, then go to inventory, click on the Warframe tab. You can see that you can do plus Warframe slot, which is 20. If you scroll down to the bottom, you can see if you have any extra, but I unfortunately don't, so you have to go ahead and buy one, like that. Now you can get platinum from other players through trading. Go ahead, type in Rhino again. I'm gonna rush him. Boom, went off that time, and there you go. Rhino was just added to my inventory. Awesome. Cool. That's how you get Rhino on Warframe. So if you go ahead, take a look at the modding section. You see you have a V polarity in the aura, 2D polarities in the modding section. You haven't got any arcanes or anything like that equipped. No mods. Go to actions. No Oracle reactor equipped. No bonus format or anything like that. It's just the base Rhino, and his capacity is going to be equal to your master rank. So I'm MR26. His capacity is at 26. If you're MR2, then his capacity is going to be at 2, so on and so forth. And then, of course, if you were to, let's say, mastery rank up to mastery rank 3 and then forma this guy, you would then have a free capacity. So it's not like it's just set to whatever mastery that you built the frame at, right? So yeah, hopefully you guys learned a lot from this video. Rhino was one of those frames that a lot of players are going to recommend to pick up because Rhino Charge is good for mobility. Iron Skin is good for, you know, just tanking enemies that are a little bit higher level than you because it's good at scaling. You've got Roar on there, which is a good damage buff, and then Rhino Stump, which is good for CC. So this is like one of the first frames in the game, which is literally going to carry you through a lot of content that you may or may not struggle with. It depends on what type of player that you are. This is just newbie's best friend is what I like to call Rhino. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead, hit that like button below. If you want to see more Warframe content from me, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.